everyone, Angela with Megastar, and in today's video we're going to be talking about common health related topics in relation to puppies in their go home period. And so today's video is really going to be about parasites, and that's a fun topic to talk about. So I said it's a fun topic, but it's actually it's fun to talk about with families because I like to educate. And first and foremost, I am not a vet, just a breeder that has a little bit of experience in a lot of areas, and I like to share that information with our families. But first of all, do not be alarmed if you happen to be one of those families that gets a puppy home and you take your puppy to the vet for its well check and that vet tells you that you might have a parasite in your puppy. It is super common and it is not something to be fearful of. So today we're going to talk about those types of parasites, what you can do to work through that process if you happen to be one of those families, and then also if you bring a puppy home and you get a complete clean bill of health, what you could encounter later on as they continue to grow. So starting off, as a breeder, we always want to have perfection. We strive for it in all areas, and we really want that fecal to be negative. It's part of what we work towards. But the reality is these little loves are animals. Parasites are going to be present in their body their entire life. And so that is why your vet's going to recommend a prevention process for you, including monthly meds to counteract that. It is just something you should be aware of, and you should work towards prevention. So as our little ones are growing, there are a variety of parasites that they could encounter. It comes through the mother's milk a lot of times. Some of them stay dormant, some of them get active during stressful times. Some are more active during weaning phases. Some are more active when they go home. There's just a variety of different types of parasites that they can encounter. But I want you to understand that a negative fecal from a vet before a puppy departs is really just a snapshot of that time frame. And so although we celebrate it, it is something that is just a snapshot. And if they go home after they've been transported and stress is in place and new environments are placed, they can have a parasite that shows up in their fecal with your vet, and do not be alarmed by it. Your vet will have a protocol based upon the parasite they test for. You can follow that, and sometimes it's not just one case of worming meds, sometimes it's round 2, but generally by the time the puppy hits 16 weeks, they're set and their immune systems are very developed. They're fully vaccinated at that point, and you're ready to navigate the world together. So most responsible breeders have a worming protocol, and it actually starts with the adult health. So it starts with the mothers. So for example, my mothers are on a monthly regimen, so they are dewormed monthly. And then prior to delivery, they actually get a worming 2 weeks before delivery. And then after that, once the puppies have arrived, they get it depending on the week. It can be every week, it can be every other week. And my protocol is relatively stringent. It's very inclusive, and it's all for prevention. And so it has been refined over the last, 5.5, 6 years. But again, this is animal health, and so things are always ever changing. Medicines change that combat it, environments change. Our temperature, as the seasons change, we deal with different outcomes in our puppies. And so as a breeder, you have to be attuned to where you are in your program, and really you have to be like an expert poop analyzer. I know that's a big word and it sounds very disgusting, but if you are a breeder, you deal with that portion of output, the poop, every day, all day long. And so we constantly are analyzing it for color, consistency, texture, consistency, like even if it comes out in a swirl or not. And even at that point, this is a great point actually, even though you have analyzed more of it than you really want to talk about, many times you cannot predict what is in that poop until you run it through an actual test from your vet. And so those vets have great technology today. We have the assistance of AI technology, which proves Oh, it just provides so much information for us. And so awareness is really key in combating parasites. So from a breeder standpoint, I love to know what's in that fecal. I want to know what I can do better. And then once a litter goes home, then if there was anything that I had dealt with during that season, I document it based upon the weather. But then also I might adjust my pre-protocols, like what I'm giving my mothers ahead of time. And even my puppies during the time that they're here, adjust it to what my results are. So every breeder is a little different, but most of your really responsible breeders have a very stringent policy that they follow and one they've perfected over the years. So if we start to talk about actual parasites, there are a variety of them. The majority of you will probably know more about Giardia and Coccidia because that is what you would probably encounter at an 8-week-old puppy. And by the way, I'm so sorry, I did not introduce my little love. This is Miss Phoebe. She is actually one of my personal puppies. She is a Bernedoodle. She's an F1. She is right at, 8.5 weeks. And she's lovely, just lovely. So I talk better if I have a puppy in my hands because I can rub and massage and do all the things. So back to the topics of Giardia and Coccidia. Those are the two most common parasites that you might find when you get your puppy home. And if they are eating and drinking well and they have that in their fecal, it's really just a medicine regimen and cleaning. You just need to make sure you clean up from them so it can't be passed on again. And you should be on your way, like with that medicine, just be on your way to a healthy puppy. It does get activated. It can be negative with the breeder, and it does get activated by stress and by environment changes. And so do not be alarmed by it. All dogs carry coccidia, the level of it. We always want a 0 on those reports, right? But anything under 15 is considered normal. And so that's just the education I've been fed. Again, I'm not a vet, just sharing what I know and what I look for. But if we want to talk about the prevention of that, puppies are treated every couple weeks against it. And those regimens are anywhere from 5 to 14 days, depending on the medicine. Some of it is over the counter, some of it is prescription. And so your vet will know exactly what they need to give you based upon those results. I have a really great tool that's going to be up on my website if you would like to check it out there. It's called Puppy Parasite Guide. What every puppy parent should know. It just tells you a little bit about some quick reference things. That puppies under 12 weeks, their immune system is still developing, and so therefore that's why those parasites are present. And they're still getting their wormings regularly, and they're getting their vaccines. So once you get a puppy home, let's talk about what that first vet visit could look like. 8 to 10 weeks, that window when you would receive your puppy. You're going to take the puppy into the vet. They're going to do a wellness check. They're going to listen to the heart. They're going to look in their ears. They're going to check for luxations in the joints. And then if they didn't ask you when you made your appointment, I would always recommend that my families do take a fecal in and have that run. Recommend a fecal run on your puppy so you know what you're dealing with. And then they'll start deworming. So they'll give vaccines if needed for boosters, but then they'll also give some wormings. So you'll get those every 2 weeks. So from 10 weeks to 16 weeks, you will get specific wormings while you're in the office there. And again, it's prevention. So prevention in puppies is huge. You want to keep that little immune system as healthy as possible just to get them through that first 16-week window. If you encounter a runny stool, it's often recommended that you add fiber to that diet. And so pumpkin in the form of canned pumpkin, but make sure there's no sugar, is a great additive for them. Boiled chicken, rice is a great alternative. Most people have rice in their cabinets. So that will help them get their system back on track, and very bland, of course. And then once they start seeing your stools getting a little more firmer, you can try and get them back on their food. But always when that first starts to happen, if it's over the weekend, reach out to your vet, make sure that they don't want you to bring a sample in or even see the puppy, because the one thing, puppies are very, very resilient. They are also very strong. But in the event that they start with diarrhea, they become dehydrated, and that is when things turn the other direction. And so hydration is key to that. So your vet may want to administer some IV or some fluids under the skin to keep them hydrated. You can also keep some syringes on hand. I usually tell my families to have a few of those. Add water in that syringe. Try to get water in their mouth. Just keep an eye on them. Signs to watch for: a puppy should be happy, bouncy, happy to see you, tail wagging, interested in toys. If you happen to see them off to the side, a little lethargic, the eyes a little less open than before. I often think when my puppies, if they don't feel well, their eyes don't have the same shine. So you can kind of just see in their eyes that they're telling you they don't feel well. Those are signs to get them to your vet. And that is why your breeder will always recommend that after you get your puppy home, it's one of the first things I tell my families: always get that vet appointment established. I like my puppies seen under 72 hours. I know it's not all possible for everyone. The whole reason is because once they're out of my care or the breeder's care, you need to have a resource. You need to have someone you can reach out to. You need your own person in your own court. And that vet is who's going to be able to help you along the way. And so having that relationship established, having them know your puppy, first of all, name, microchip, all that stuff, having a resource to call that office and say, listen, I think I might need some help. Those are really, really important pieces. And that's why it's so important to get your vet appointment first. So I usually tell families, once you get your reservation to adopt your puppy, make your vet appointment, like immediately. It's so, so important. Majority of our families never have any challenges, but if you happen to be that family that needs a little help, you want to have that relationship in place. So along with talking about the prevention of your puppy, like parasites, and I like to talk a little bit about keeping your puppy healthy and what that means. And so many families get super excited, like they want everybody to meet their new puppy, and rightfully so. And some families really want their puppy to meet everything in life. They want to go to the ball games, they want them at the pet store, they want them at all the places. But I say this strongly to my families: please, please consider taking back that excitement a little bit, drilling it back, thinking of the puppy first. There are so many things that linger out there in the world, and your puppy at 8 to 10 weeks is not prepared from the immune side of it to take on that world yet. Take them on walks, carry them, put them in a stroller. Just keep them very, very safe, because we want to make sure that their immune system is fully covered by the vaccines by the time they're 16 weeks. But the up to 16 weeks is a critical socialization period as well. So you need to expose. You can do a lot of that in your home, hair dryers, setting them up for success. So I usually say, just like you'd think of what you want your child to be part of. If you want to be swimmers, you take them to swimming lessons. If you want to play ball, you take them out in the yard and you play ball with them, or you get them on a t-ball team to start. Think of your puppy the same way. So think of what you want them to do in life, how you want to set them up, and expose them to all those. If you want to be hikers, take them to nature, let them hear all those sounds. If you want to take them to the ball field, get them around a lot of activity so that those sounds are very familiar to them. The puppies that have been raised through a Megastar program have been conditioned and molded and been exposed to a lot of things. Those things are very controlled in our environment, and so we raise all puppies exposed to those exposures. But what you're going to want to encounter with your puppy throughout your life is going to be different, and that's the beauty of the journey with their puppy. So the main reason for such a strong position on a controlled environment is because the parasites live on surfaces. They are transmitted through bird droppings, through raccoons moving around, just a lot of other animals that live in our environments that potentially are not vaccinated or more on the wild side. So we would just want to make sure that your puppy has the best start that it possibly can. And you get to control that. You get to shape them and mold them. Again, if you do encounter something, that is why that relationship with your vet is so important, because they have a wealth of knowledge. Even puppies that are out in the woods going for hikes, there are ticks around. Ticks carry Lyme disease. Lyme's cause your puppy to go lame. So your vet just has some excellent resources for you. and it's great to have them on your speed dial. I just want to wrap this video up. I talked about a lot of areas in puppy health today in regards to parasites and how to keep them healthy. Obviously, if you have questions, reach out to your breeder. Breeders love to share their knowledge and experience. They have a wealth of it. We often don't share unless we're asked, because parasites is something that we study, we know a lot about, and we don't share about it because we are combating it for perfection, or striving for perfection. But your vet is also a great person to consult with. And ultimately, I just want to encourage you, like, watch your puppy, just like you watch your children. If you've had children, watch their mannerisms, watch their day-to-day. They're energetic in the morning. If they're not energetic that morning, just be very intentional about keeping an eye on those puppies all the way. I mean, obviously through their adult life, but really until fully vaccinated, just to kind of watch for signs that you could catch early. Because in puppy health, if you catch things early, the outcome can be really positive. So I just want to thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. It's a little bit of a breeder's insight to puppy health, little on the education side. Again, not from a veterinary standpoint, but just from Angie's personal experiences. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.